I honestly wasn't expecting much from Barbie Dreamtopia, but I grew up basically worshipping my Barbie dolls, and I saw this on Amazon Prime, and I just thought, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see what it's like, and I'll be honest, really pleasantly surprised. Now, maybe that's because it focuses more on Chelsea, Barbie's little sister, than it does on Barbie. Chelsea is voiced by Meira Blinkoff, Barbie by Erica Lindbeck, and in terms of the voice casting across the board, it's exactly what I would have expected. Very sweet honey tones, very juvenile in pronunciations, and that works really well. You feel like you're being spoken to rather than spoken down to if I was a 5 year old watching this. And that's the same with the dialogue as well. But the message in this is what really blew me away because I didn't expect it to be quite so positive. It's Barbie. I assumed it would be about how to do your hair or how to look the best or how to dress for a certain situation. But actually, in Dreamtopia, Chelsea is nervous because there's an annual bike race coming up and she's finally old enough to compete, but she's scared of riding a two-wheeler and she's getting a bit bullied because of that. And she mentions to her frenemy that she still plays make-believe and that her tree is actually a boat that will carry her away in her dreams to this magical Dreamtopia land. And of course, she gets made fun of for that. But Barbie, being the big sister, is there to help encourage her to face her fears, but also not to be afraid of playing pretend. And Barbie talks quite a lot about the magic of make believe and the magic of invention and of creativity. And I found that to be really positive because there are a lot of times when children, or maybe older children and teenagers, I'm sure you'll know yourself, where you face that point where you start to think, maybe I need to grow up a bit. Everybody else around me seems to have left their imaginations behind, but that should never happen. We should never forget our imaginations, particularly if you're an artist of any kind. It's really integral to the craft that you keep your imagination. And this message is really beautiful here, and it is saying don't try and grow up too quickly, but even as you do grow up, you don't need to lose the magic of imagination. Of course, the other message is facing your fears and not letting things you're worried about get in the way of things you want to do, because of course Chelsea wants to take part in this bike race with her friends and have fun, and Barbie is there to help her through that. So I think the messages in this are really nice. The narrative is really sweet. There's quite a lot going on there. It's a lot more complex than I would have imagined. Obviously it's very magical. We get this magical Dreamtopia land. The strawberries are the cutest things I have ever seen, but they're also terrifying. They are bears that look like they are made of a strawberry, and it's terrifying and adorable at the same time. If you haven't seen the film and you don't want to watch the film, just Google these bears. They're they're trippy but also really cute. I liked it. Sure, I'm not the target audience. Sure, I probably don't feel the magic of this in the way that a young child would, but I watched it out of curiosity, and I'm really pleasantly surprised that the messages are not about fashion and your hair. And I know people argue that Barbie can have it all, and she's a career woman, and she's a great role model for children, but no, she isn't. Let's face it, no, she isn't. But this one's really refreshing. I was really pleasantly surprised. The animation style is really cute. The dialogue's really engaging. The pacing of it is really good. Directed by Saul Blinkoff, written by Kate Boutilier and Julia Pistor. Barbie Dreamtopia may not have been one that I was thinking I'd enjoy, but actually, it's pretty good.